What's up, everybody? Welcome to the special episode of the Bigote Brothers podcast.
Very special.
It
What
is
do we
that
got
time
going
of the
on?
year again, and for this episode, we're going to be doing a playoff preview of all 16 teams who are in the playoffs right now, and especially focusing on our Lakers. But we'll take a look at the other matchups as well, and yeah, let's go get to it.
All right, let's go. I was actually fortunate enough to watch the play-ins now. So,
Hmm.
so New Zealand has. I have Disney Plus, right, because of my
Yeah.
kid and all that stuff. So I didn't know that they were showing all the playing games and probably all the playoff games.
Hmm.
So I get everything on Disney Plus now through ESPN. I was
Oh
able to
yeah,
watch
yeah.
the play.
Uh-huh.
So there were four playing games, right? And I
Yeah.
was able. I didn't really care about the Orlando Atlanta one, but
Oh
the
yeah.
rest of the three I watched. So we can start with that. So
Yeah.
Chicago, the first Chicago and Miami game, that was for the 10 seed versus the 9 seed.
Right.
I mean, when I was watching that, I just how the hell did the Lakers lose to that
Lose to the
Chicago team
Bulls.
twice? They
Yeah.
lost twice because
Twice. Yeah.
Miami just dominated that game.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that was in I believe in Chicago as well because Miami
Yeah.
was the 10th seed.
Hmm.
So the Bulls were just horrible. They just couldn't buy a basket.
Yeah.
And Josh Giddey though was pretty good for them. I think
It's pretty good. Yeah.
it's a surprise for people. Obviously, a lot of people were kind of baffled by the fact that the Bulls let Alex Caruso go for Giddey and change. Really.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody thought they were fleas, but Josh Giddey is legit, man. I mean, the guy has some controversy behind him, but
Right.
I think he's gonna be a good guy
Yeah.
for the Bulls moving forward.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
So the Heat were just, and this is gonna be a theme for the Heat. These two playing games. So the Heat are, the shot making of Tyler Hero is
Yeah.
off the charts, man. I mean, I was just
And
surprised
he's
as
an
how
all-star. So yeah.
I was just surprised how good he was. Right.
Mhm.
So obviously the Heat beat the Bulls, and
Yeah.
then yesterday they had that game against Atlanta,
The overtime game.
which we were able to catch that game.
No, but yeah, they won 123-114 in OT.
That was a great game, man. That was a great game. I was watching it yesterday before we left, and then I mean, look, I one thing I want to say about that is that how lucky are the Lakers to not have to deal with Trae Young, because he was good in that game. Don't get me wrong, but I think Trae Young and the Lakers would have been a disaster, even if they would have to had
Yeah.
to trade a lot for him. But he just doesn't play defense, man. And I know that
No,
the
he
Luca
doesn't, yeah.
and the Trae Young trade on draft day will always follow those two guys. And
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. Dallas on that trade. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's speaking of Dallas. So they had two playing games as well.
Yeah.
So first one was against Sacramento,
Right.
and the Kings just showed how horrible they are as a franchise.
Yeah.
Obviously, they fired their GM Monte McNair after the game,
Mhm.
but
It's
dude,
been a disaster the whole season for Sacramento.
I mean, why would you trade for Zach LaVine?
Right.
You already had DeMar DeRozan. When the Bulls already did that, it failed,
Who's been on the same team twice now, you know.
right? And they've been together on the same team twice, and in that game against Dallas, which was in Sacramento, essentially, Zach LaVine was useless in that game. I mean. They kind of got him because he could make shots, right? He can make threes and whatnot, but
Right.
it was just horrible. And Keegan Murray, it was just horrible as well. I think there's going to be a lot of changes in Sacramento after losing that and getting eliminated.
Yep.
And Dallas moved on to play Memphis,
Yeah.
right? So Dallas and Memphis played in essentially a do or die game yesterday.
Yep.
And Anthony Davis, man. That was probably, I don't know if you watched the game, but that's probably one of the most Anthony Davis games he could ever have. Okay, he was hesitant, right?
Yeah.
At first he was hesitant. He was horrible, but then he warmed up. He was starting to hit threes.
Yep.
He was starting to hit his shots. He was good on defense. He was getting the boards. He scored 40 points actually, but
He scored.
they
Yeah,
got
he scored
blown
40.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
He scored 40. He scored
He
40.
got blown out.
Right?
Yeah,
But they got blown
yeah.
out. They lost, and he got injured at the same time. I mean, look,
It's a textbook Anthony Davis game. It's so
it's a classic
sad.
AD. It's a classic AD.
Yeah.
I am so glad we don't have to deal with that anymore. As Laker fans, wish the
Yeah.
best for AD really,
Yep.
but I'm just so happy that's not there. So
From a team standpoint, it's just not gonna work.
nah. But
Not
so
for
with that being said, the ones that advanced, obviously, we got Miami advancing to play the Cleveland Cavaliers.
right.
We got the Orlando Magic got to be playing the Celtics.
Yep.
In the West, we're gonna start the preview with the West.
Yep.
We got Houston facing off
Yep.
against Golden State,
The Warriors. Yep.
and then we got the number one seed OKC, which is gonna go against Memphis. We might as
Memphis.
well start with that, right?
Let's
So,
start with 1-8. Yeah. OKC Memphis.
what do you think, man?
Okay. My prediction for this series, I would say OKC 4-1.
You think it's gonna be 5 games? I think it's gonna be 5 games.
Yeah,
So.
they'll give Memphis one. Ja Morant's gonna explode, and then But other than that, I don't think Memphis has any answer for SGA. Plus,
I don't think a lot of teams has
they don't.
answers for it.
Yeah, and also they don't have aside from Ja Morant, they don't have as much weapons to counter the defense of OKC. Like, Luke Dort, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein.
Hartenstein.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna. Yeah,
Alex.
that's a solid defensive team.
Yeah, I don't
I don't
think
think
they're
they
gonna
have
get.
an answer for that.
They were shooting well last night against Dallas,
Yeah,
but
against
defense
Dallas, yeah.
was championship Dallas, aka. But they couldn't. I don't think they're gonna have the same success with that OKC team. Ja Morant actually, I don't know if you
Yeah.
watched that Dallas Golden State playing game. So Ja left the game. Ja tweaked his ankle. I think he was coming off a layup or a jump
Yeah.
shot or something like that, and he landed awkwardly. He
Right.
twisted his own ankle,
Mm-hmm.
and he was 7 out of 24 against Dallas
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
So I don't know how
The only other solid players, offensive players for Memphis are Desmond Bain and Jaren Jackson.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and here's the thing: Jaren Jackson is very foul prone.
Yeah.
Okay, he's gonna foul a lot, and OKC will get the whistle. SGA will get a whistle. So you gotta question the fact that you got Jaren Jackson in there who's gonna be fouling a lot. You have Zach Edey who's essentially he's the tall guy,
Yeah.
but he's slow. You
Yeah.
gotta question how he's gonna defend OKC when Chet becomes center for some
Yeah.
reason.
Right.
Right? It's gonna be a question of how you're gonna do that. So
And
yeah.
I don't think, at least Scottie Pippen Jr., who started against Dallas, I don't think he's. He doesn't. I mean,
Nah, I mean he did
Against
a
SGA.
decent job.
yeah,
I would say he did
Yeah.
a decent job on Curry.
Yeah.
But Curry's Curry, and
Curry's
that's
Curry, yeah.
essentially how they got past Memphis in the 1st place. Curry just went hot in the fourth. That was it.
yeah,
I like Scottie Pippen. I wish he was still
Yeah.
with the Lakers, by the way. But
Yeah.
it's just I think it's series in 5. Probably Memphis gonna get one at home, and then
Yeah, one at
OKC's
home.
gonna fish up quick.
yeah.
Right. So the 2-7 matchup.
Moving
This
on,
is probably-
2-7.
Probably one of my favorite matchups here
Houston
in this
Golden
year.
State. Oof.
Houston
Yeah.
Golden State. Okay.
Yeah. So
What do you got
yeah, first thing we want to look at in this series is how effective is going to be the defense on Steph Curry. How is Houston going to play? I mean, I'm pretty sure Houston's going to play physical on him as they've always done. Houston's two big lineup against this makes it what makes it exciting. Houston's two big lineup against the Warriors playing small ball.
Yeah. So the Rockets have a very tricky lineup for Golden State. And remember that last game that they had, that was it, right? They beat the Warriors They played
Right.
Curry very physically. Some would say they were kind of testing the limits of what the calls were going to be.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't know how the whistles are going to be for each game.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how Golden State is going to deal with that.
Yeah.
But the thing that I want to see with this matchup is, it's probably Dylan Brooks is going to be on Curry. I would say,
Oh yeah.
right, and then that's a guy who's going to be grabbing a lot of fouls as well and might
Right.
get texts. And him and Draymond will be key for the defenses of this
The
team. And
war within a war.
right, there's
Yeah,
going to be
we're
some
gonna get into
physicality
each
in
other's
there.
heads, you know.
So we got to see how they will keep their tempers in check. Number one, and how they would contribute because Draymond is the engine of that team.
Right.
Okay, so Curry's gonna be Curry, right?
Yeah.
But if Draymond isn't there, I don't know how this small ball lineup's gonna work,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? So it's gonna be interesting to see how the Rockets will stop the 3-point shooting of
Yeah.
the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
They got a lot of shooters in that team, and how they would implement their own scoring because they're not a good scoring team, right?
Right.
Our Kababayan Jalen Green, as
Yeah.
good as he is going to be his first playoff series, as with a lot of these Rockets.
Yeah, it's a case of youth against championship experience. I think.
Right.
The Rockets are a team that's hungry. They're not. They're not the type of team that's that's you gotta wait your turn. They want it now, so they're hungry.
Right. So, but I mean, Ime Udoka has shown to be a great coach.
Right.
Hey man, he pulled Nia Long. I would root for that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ime Udoka pulled Nia Long. I'll just reiterate that. Okay,
Yeah.
Nia Long. That's Nia Long. Okay.
Yeah.
But seriously, it's just I think he's a good coach, and he showed that with the Leprechauns. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have confidence that experience won't be much of an issue in this game. I think it's still going to be affecting the team, but if there's anyone who can right the ship in that case, it's going to be Ime Udoka.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the X factors. Who do we think are going to be the X factors for each squad?
Pods.
Pods, man. He
Yeah,
killed the
Pods.
Lakers, right?
Pods
So
and Kuminga, actually.
right, and that's the thing. Jonathan Kuminga has been a DNP the last 2 games. They could really use him this series, right?
Right.
We know the physicality of the Rockets. We know how they're gonna try to lock up Jimmy and stuff really.
Yeah.
So it's up to the other guys to make shots, and
Right.
Pods has shown he can score, right? Kuminga's shown he can score, so it's really up to those guys to see how they're gonna be able to contribute in such a way.
Someone who I want to see, one of my favorite shooters, I want to see him, have a good game in this series is Buddy Hield.
Oh man,
Like,
is playoff Buddy gonna make an appearance?
yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I look, man. Did you see that comparison? So they ran a play. I don't know if you watched.
They ran that last play against the Clippers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just don't trust Buddy, man.
Yeah.
I like him, right? But Buddy's very one-dimensional. He's very streaky.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if he's gonna be. I
Yeah.
think. Look, I think. Here's what I think. I think Clay should have stayed in Golden State. Or went to the Lakers. It's really those two
Or went
teams,
to the Lakers, yeah.
right? But Buddy Hield is just not the guy, man. He's just nah.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Warriors need him. The Warriors need him to space the floor against this team. But I just don't think it's gonna happen. So what do we think about this series? It's 2 versus 7, but this is Golden State we're talking about.
I
here.
will go out on a limb and call Warriors in 6.
What? Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna go Warriors in 6 over this. Okay.
Warriors in 6,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah.
So take note. Whoever wins this will be facing the Lakers next.
Lakers.
If the Lakers get it, we're gonna discuss that.
I
a
don't
bit.
want it to happen.
Okay, so you think Warriors in 6? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I was thinking Houston in 6.
Houston in 6. Mm.
I was thinking Houston in 6. I think this is the playoffs.
Right.
They're not gonna give you that kind of whistle in the playoffs,
Right.
which means that the Rockets are gonna get away with a lot of calls.
Goals, yeah.
Okay, and that's gonna be to their advantage.
Although I do want to see the Rockets Lakers series, just because I want to see how LeBron responds to Dylan Brooks this time.
I think from a matchup perspective, I would prefer to face the Rockets rather than the Warriors, just because of the fact that the Lakers have traditionally destroyed the Warriors, but they had a 80 there
Yeah,
to
they had
punish their
80,
small ball lineup.
Right.
That's not that's not going to be the case here.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Warriors have the defenders to go against the Lakers, but you know, let's talk about that when it happens. I prefer the Rockets. I think they're going to
Yeah.
beat the Warriors 6 games. That's for me.
It's
That's
reasonable.
the
Yeah, yeah.
Houston in 6. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
You want to go to 4-5 or do you want to go to? Let's leave the Lakers for last. Let's
Let's
go to.
save Lakers for last. Let's do Denver and the Clippers.
Okay, I think this is probably the most exciting matchup in the first
In
round.
the first round, yeah.
In its entirety.
Mhm.
Denver versus the Clippers. What do we think?
Okay. First factor. First question we want to ask is, which Russell Westbrook is going to show up for Denver?
Yo, there was this stretch where Westbrook really just cost them, right? That's the
Yeah.
reason why they're in this position to begin
Right.
with, right? Look, I love Russ. Okay,
Yeah.
let me go out on a limb to say I love Russ. I loved
Yeah.
him in OKC.
Mm-hmm.
Right when he was on, the fucker
was
was
on.
just on.
Yeah.
Okay, he has one of my favorite 3-point celebrations of all time. Remember, he used to do the holsters.
Yeah.
We used to do the holsters like that, and then
Yeah.
he used to do that. Yeah, I don't know why he stopped doing that. That was
Yeah.
probably one of my favorite ones
Uh-huh.
in history. But yeah, Russell has cost him a lot of games, and but the same
Yeah.
thing with the Clippers.
Mhm.
He cost
Oh,
the
yeah,
Clippers
yeah.
a lot of games too. He's gonna
Yeah,
go
right.
back to LA for this one.
Yeah.
So I
Interesting
agree.
matchup also, huh?
Well, yeah, I'm saying I agree that Westbrook's gonna be a factor in this, if whichever one shows up. But
Right.
I do have confidence in their coaching staff that they will bench Russ when necessary.
Yeah. When necessary.
So hopefully for the Nuggets,
Yeah.
he doesn't get a lot of shots up.
Right.
You were saying something?
Yeah, the interesting matchup would be Jokic against Zubac. We'll see what happens with that too.
Zupac is in the house. He's
Yep.
been great, man. He's been great for them.
Yeah.
I think that was probably Magic's dumbest move, trading Zubats for nothing, really.
Gosh, yeah.
Mike Muscala, man. What the fuck, man? But Magic, you're amazing, but
Bro,
what the
like-
fuck did you make that deal?
Yeah. We had Zubac for a time, and he was on the rise. He was already giving us good games.
Bro, whenever they gave him minutes, he was producing. We already knew
producing.
that was going to be the case.
Yeah.
He was good. Look, he's been great in the pick and roll for the Clippers, and he would have been great for the pick and roll if that was the Lakers.
With Lonzo, yeah.
I mean, look, man, I don't want to think about it too much, but yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, Zubats has turned
Save that
into
for
a great.
another what if episode.
No, let's do that. What if
The
they had it?
young ones of 2017, 2018.
Let's do that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been waiting to
kept
do
that
that.
core,
Let's do that. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. But yeah, I mean, Jokic is gonna be Jokic, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he actually averaged a triple double this year.
He did.
Yeah, and he had that monster 60-point game that Westbrook blew. He had a 60-point triple double game. That's crazy.
Yeah.
He should be MVP in my opinion, okay? But he's not gonna get it. I think SGA is gonna get that award.
SJ's gonna get it. Yeah.
But hey, it's gonna be crucial how Zubats will fit into this because it's gonna be hard for him to guard Jokic, number one, because
Right.
of how space Jokic, how much space Jokic commands. But at the same time, the Clippers need Zubats to keep Jokic decent
Good,
on
yeah.
the defensive end.
Right.
That pick and roll has to be working, right?
Right.
And he's also a good rebounder as well. So he has to be able to stay on the floor.
Yeah.
Now
Um,
we got a question when it comes to the Clippers. The biggest question mark has always been the health of Kawhi Leonard, but he's been healthy.
The
I,
health.
I,
How healthy is Fun Guy gonna be?
that's gonna be the question for them, right? So
Yeah.
the last postseason that they had, he was just gone, really.
Yeah.
But he looked healthy. He looked
Yeah.
great. He was looking great, and that's the reason why the Clippers are even in this position right now.
Yeah.
Fun guy is healthy, man.
Yeah.
Whatever they did worked. Whatever they did worked. If
Yep.
he can keep this up,
Yeah.
Clippers are gonna be the sleeper, right here.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
All right, they have a chance to
Right.
go to the conference finals. To be honest with you,
Right.
I think with this track
Yeah.
they're on, it's gonna be a great matchup. If they beat Denver, end up facing OKC, that's not going to be an easy game for
Right.
easy
Yeah.
series for OKC. But
X factors. Also, you mentioned Aaron Gordon and Norman Powell.
right, so obviously Aaron Gordon is gonna whoever. Here's the thing, so Aaron Gordon or Zubats is gonna be guarding one of those two guys.
Right.
Okay, so I'm guessing it's gonna be Jokic,
Yeah.
but who's gonna be able? They have to cover Gordon as well because he's shown to
Derek-
have the shot.
Derek
Yeah.
Jones. He's long. He's tall. Yeah.
But he's thin, man.
He's
That's the
thin.
thing.
Yeah.
Gordon can overpower him easy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tricky for the Clippers how they would
Yeah.
defend this.
Yeah.
Um,
I think another X factor for the Nuggets would be if Christian Brown is hitting his shots.
that too, yeah.
Yeah.
So Christian Bond is essentially their KCP at this point. That's their KCP replacement.
Yep.
So if he can provide that 3-and-D,
Yeah.
I'm guessing he's probably gonna be guarding a lot of
Yeah.
Kawhi now.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think. What do you think? I mean, this is gonna be probably one of the closest series that in
This
the
is
first round.
I will.
Who you got?
I will say this series is gonna go to full 7, and at the end of the day, I think the Nuggets are gonna.
Okay, right. I also think it's gonna go the full 7,
Yeah.
but I think the Clippers take it.
The
this time.
Clippers are gonna. Oh,
I think the Clippers are gonna
okay.
take it. I think the Clippers are gonna take it.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what's gonna happen is that the Nuggets role players are gonna have an off night one night, and then the Clippers are just gonna pounce.
They're gonna pounce, yeah.
Remember, the Nuggets fired Mike Malone. They have a
Yeah.
new coach, David Adelman, I believe. Right. So I think that's gonna be a factor.
Yep.
Ty Lue's gonna be able to out coach the Denver Nuggets, and
Oh,
they're gonna pull it off.
out coach. Definitely, Ty Lue's gonna out coach because Ty Lue has a ring.
Right.
Ty Lue has a
I think it's gonna be Clippers in 7 for this one. I'm gonna take that.
Interesting. Okay.
Right. Obviously,
Yeah,
this
fair.
is our team now. This is gonna be fun.
we go.
Minnesota and the Lakers.
Back.
They're actually gonna be playing in a couple hours.
Yes.
Game 1.
What happens?
And okay, what do you think about this? This is gonna be
So I mean, really, the one thing that we really have to, if we want to make this a series where we dominate, it's all about containing Anthony Edwards. You know,
Yep.
Anthony Edwards. On the other hand, if he wants to, if Minnesota wants to pull something off, he has to be great. He has to be locked in, have that, have that playoff mode or whatever you call it, playoff.
essentially he has to show. You know the memes last year with him. He has to show that he's the missing son of Jordan.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
so that's what he needs to do. I mean, bar none, the Wolves are not going anywhere if
We're not
Anthony
gonna-
Edwards does not show up.
yeah.
That's clear.
Just how it is,
Yep.
Other than that, they're short at the point guard spot. The only, pretty much, you mentioned the only playmaker is Mike Conley.
Mike Conley. Yep.
Yes,
And he's what 6'1" and old.
one, and he's gonna. Luka's really not known for his defense, but it's I don't know. I don't think he's gonna outplay Luka.
Yeah. The trouble from Minnesota side is on defense, really, because
Yeah,
as you said, Conley's the only playmaker that they have
Yep.
apart from Matt. Okay, so apart from Matt, but Conley's still someone who sets the table for them.
right.
He has to be on the floor at all times. So
Right.
you got to ask who's he's guarding.
Yeah.
All right, so you have Luca, you have LeBron, you have Austin. Those are the
Austin.
three guys that essentially you need to guard from a playmaker perspective.
Right.
Jaden McDaniels would probably cover LeBron. It's either
Right.
him or Luca,
Alexander Walker.
right? So
Yep.
Alexander Walker off the bench, yeah, obviously. But Jaden McDaniels is starting. He's gonna be covering either. I'm guessing Jaden McDaniels starts on LeBron and Anthony Edwards starts on Luca.
Yep.
And from a defensive point of view, that means that Conley's gonna end up with Austin,
Right.
which is, I mean, that's still Austin. Okay,
Yeah.
so the question now becomes, on if you're Minnesota, how are you gonna exploit the Lakers' weakness now? Right. So you have to be able to make sure to keep Luka involved in the defense.
Right.
To make sure that Austin has to also be involved in defensive actions, because they're horrible defensive players.
Yeah. And the one thing I think, the one silver lining they have on defense is Rudy Gobert. But the question is, again, is he gonna, is he gonna protect the rim? Because knowing how the Lakers play, they're gonna adjust, and we can hit shots.
I think the Lakers are gonna play a lot of small ball in the series.
A lot of
They're gonna
small
try
ball.
to they're gonna try to take Gobert off the floor.
They'll
Really,
probably play Vando at center or Rui at
Yeah.
center. Yeah.
you're gonna get a lot of Vando and Rui at center in this series. I'm guessing too. It really just stretches the defense of the Wolves, right? But I mean, look, they're no slouch either.
Yeah,
They
they're
have a
not.
lot of shooters on their team as well. They can go small. I think if
Right.
there's anyone that can go small, it's probably gonna be this team as well, right? They have a lot of shooters. They got Dante, really
Nice.
really good, right?
Oh, DiVincenzo. Yeah.
Yeah, you got Alexander Walker, which you've mentioned, right? You got Naz Reid. He can
Nazarene.
use as a small ball center. He's been historically good against the Lakers,
Yeah.
and he's essentially what you want Rui to be.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a big X factor for the Wolves, really. If
The Wolves,
Naz Reid
yeah.
can get his points and make sure that to punish the Lakers bench, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
And for the Lakers, we kind of mentioned it already. Austin has to.
Yeah.
Luca and LeBron are gonna bring it, right? So
Yeah.
but there's a scenario where they get locked up, and
Yeah.
Austin has to be able to carry the offense,
Yeah.
which he's shown.
I
to be
have
able to
faith that he can do. That Austin can.
He should be. He should.
Austin
be.
lives for the big moments. He lives
He's
for big.
him, Austin. You're him.
You're
You're him, Austin. I think he can do it. I think he can definitely do it for sure.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of here. The Lakers shooters have to show up as well. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we saw Gabe playing really well at the end of the season.
Right.
We saw DFS playing
DFS,
well at the
yeah.
end of the season. Been locked down. He's been essentially. We mentioned this. DFS is the new KCP.
Right.
He's been showing that. So if they are good, then this should be a quick
Yeah.
series. Now, with that being said, what do we think
Oof.
is going to happen here? So the series starts tonight in Los Angeles. What do we got here? What is our official prediction for the
Lakers in-
Minnesota versus
in
Lakers?
five.
Lakers in 5.
Yeah. Lakers. in
Lakers.
five.
I wish I had the Shannon Sharp
Yeah.
rhyme scheme going on, but I agree. It's gonna be Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so they the second round's gonna be interesting for this. But if
Yeah.
the Lakers can, I think the key for the Lakers as well in this postseason run is if they can keep the series short,
Yeah.
it's gonna be good for them given LeBron's age.
Right.
All right,
Yeah.
that's the West, really.
That's the West. Yeah.
Let's move on to the East.
Eastern Conference. What you got? 1 and 8. Oh.
Okay,
Cleveland
so this is
and
Cleveland and
Miami.
Miami. Okay, I wanted to write this off as quick as the OKC versus Memphis, but watching the
way-
Miami Heat yesterday in the play-ins, I mean, this is still Heat culture, man. I think it was
Yeah.
a good thing to get rid of Jimmy.
Yeah.
They were pretty good. What is your thought about this? But obviously
really-
Cleveland is much more talented
Much more talented, I
and
think
well coached as well.
Yeah, I think the Heat are gonna try to make this a series, relying on the shooting of Tyler Hero. Um, I would say Cleveland still comes out of this series.
Yeah,
I would, I would say, I'd say Cavaliers in six.
I would say Caps in
Yeah,
six as well. I
Cavs
think
in
I think
six.
what's gonna happen here is that Miami's just Miami, man. You know
Yeah,
how
they're
they
gonna
play. They
fight.
play
They're
hard.
gonna fight. Yeah,
Okay, they play hard, but at the end of the day, Cleveland's just got too
it's the
much.
depth. It's the depth of
Yeah, it's just too much,
Cleveland.
man.
Yeah.
I just remembered when watching the Atlanta game last night. Again,
Mm.
of them against Atlanta. Cleveland also has DeAndre Hunter off the bench now. Okay,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
just insane for
Yeah.
that lineup that they have.
Mhm.
I really don't trust Donovan Mitchell too much in the playoffs.
This is time to prove that he's a big game player. You know.
Right? This
This
is
is the
his
stage.
year.
This is it.
Really,
Yeah. Yeah.
he was disappointing last year, in my
Right.
opinion. But I think it's gonna. The reason why the Cavs lose games here in this series is because he's just not showing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing. So if he shows up consistently, then this might be a quicker series.
Right.
But if that's the case, then yeah, let's see. But yeah, I think Cleveland takes this in six. This is
Right.
gonna be an easy one for
Yeah.
them.
All
All
right.
right, we got
The
what do we got
Pacers.
next?
Pacers said Milwaukee.
Oh, you want to go there? The game is actually going on right now.
It's going on
So
right now. Let's see.
the Pacers are
um,
the Pacers are blowing out the Bucks,
right now.
83-58.
Oof.
It's bad, man. It's
Ooh, it's
bad.
bad. Oh my god.
It's bad, and
Ugh.
it's we're gonna talk. It's good that we want
Look
you
at
take
this,
this
bro.
first.
Like I'm looking at the box score. Like there's two scoreless starters for the Bucks, man, and that's embarrassing. Like
And two
Torian
former
Prince,
Lakers too.
two former Lakers, Torian Prince, and
My
Kuz.
boy Kuz, man. My boy Kuz.
I love Kuz.
I love Kuz forever.
He's
Kuz is one of my favorite of that young core, and he sucks
Yeah.
right now as expected. I just feel bad for the guy, man. Look, I like
Yeah.
Kuz, but he's just, he's. I think Kuz is that D'Lo, Nick Young kind of player.
Mhm.
I think he's just that kind of guy.
Yeah,
I mean, he was just fun to watch when he's given the
Yeah.
big green light, but
Right.
he's just not a winning basketball player,
No.
man. He's just
No,
not that guy.
yeah.
I don't think.
Torian Prince, Darvinham's favorite. You know, he
was
they started him over Bobby Portis too.
Well, I think that's a good call. I mean, Bobby's good off the bench.
Right.
He can provide a lot of scoring punch off the bench. The bench is actually pretty good now.
AJ
All right, so
Green,
you got Gary Trent, Kevin
Yeah.
Porter Jr., who's been really good for them.
Mhm.
Jericho Simpson's
Green.
actually another guy who's been pretty decent for them
Yeah.
as well. It's just that there's no one scoring on
There's no
this
scoring.
Milwaukee Bucks
Yeah,
team
it's
who's
all
actually
Giannis.
missing Dame.
Yeah, Giannis is the only player who has double figures right now. Brook Lopez
gotta-
is second with 9 points.
We gotta mention the fact that Dame is not playing because of that blood clot. Hopefully he
Right.
gets well soon.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest question marks of this series.
Mhm.
When is Dame gonna come back?
Does he even
Because
come back? Yeah,
if Dame doesn't come back, then this might be a quick series.
This might be a quick
just
series,
this is
yeah.
my opinion.
yeah.
Okay, so obviously they're getting blown out in Indiana right now.
Right.
They're down 23 as we record this.
And Tyrese Halliburton isn't having a good game. He has only 6 points right now. He's shooting 2 for 8. He hasn't hit a three.
Right.
But
look-
he's been setting the table. He has 10 assists.
Yeah. One of the guys that we have for the X Factors here, Benedict Mathurin, he's been great off the bench.
Andrew
As
Nembhard.
expected.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is another team that's gonna rely a lot on their depth,
Yep.
right? And they're getting that right now. That's why they're up big. So the question here becomes
Yeah.
if they can go back to the conference finals with this roster, right? So,
Yeah.
and then again, if I just want to reiterate, if Dame doesn't come back in this series, they're toast. Milwaukee's toast, really. I don't
Yeah.
think Giannis can carry this whole team by himself.
Alone?
Really.
Nah.
So, with that being said, right, this is essentially the 4-5 matchup in this conference.
Yeah.
What do you got? Who do we got here?
Pacers in 5.
Pacers 5. Okay, all right. So
I'll give him one.
assume I would say that's the case.
uh,
Assuming Dame doesn't return.
doesn't
Okay,
return. Yeah.
I still have the
If Dame
Pacers.
comes
Don't
back,
get me wrong.
actually no. Pacers and 5 would be would be ceiling. If Dame doesn't return, I think
Oh,
they're gonna get swept.
oh
Yeah.
shit. Okay, I
Yeah.
was gonna say if Dame doesn't return, it's probably gonna be Pacers in 5. But if he does, it's
Mm,
gonna be 6. But I got
mm,
the Pacers coming out here. It's
yeah.
just
Oh yeah,
there's
yeah.
just too much for the
Yeah.
Bucks to carry on. And
Yeah.
look, man, I think they made a bad decision firing Adrian Griffin for Doc,
Right.
and I think Giannis is gonna leave
Uh-huh.
soon.
Oof.
So I look. Let me just have a look at Giannis right now
Yeah.
and what his contract is. But I'm pretty sure he can. Look, he's in his 30s, right?
Yeah.
And he might. He's eligible to leave, really.
Hmm.
So his extension kicks in, pretty much,
Hmm.
right? So his extension kicks in next year. Then he has 3 years left in his deal, but he's
Right.
31 next
Yeah.
year, and that's right pick is right there, man. I think if Milwaukee doesn't improve, he might ask out.
You might ask out. Yeah.
That's just me.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. Next,
So
we
which one do we want to
got
go?
New York and Detroit.
Ooh, look, man, I love the Knicks. I
Yeah.
think I think the league is good if the
Uh-huh.
Knicks are good, and they're really good this year.
Yeah. They're really good
But
this year. Yeah.
they're facing an upstart Detroit Pistons team who
Right.
was way horrible last year
Yep.
and is now the 6th seed. It's
See.
crazy
Yeah.
the turnaround that Detroit has.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's write it down. So obviously the biggest thing for New York was they were able to obtain Cat,
Yep.
right? So they have Josh Hart, they have Jalen Brunson who's just returned.
Jalen Brunson.
Kyle
Yep.
Bridges is another one of their pickups,
Right.
and obviously they got Cat.
Yep.
But then Detroit, Cade Cunningham has shown why he was the number one pick.
He's
He's
finally
really
in a
looked
big game. That's
right,
that's
right.
good.
He's been
Yeah.
good,
He's
man.
finally
He's
in
been
a
really,
big game.
he's been good. He's shown why
Yeah.
he's number one. He's just got a smooth game.
Right.
He's just that big point guard.
Like,
He's just
yeah, and just the improvement like of Malik Beasley. Like wow.
man. Where the hell was that when he was in
Yeah.
the Lakers?
Exactly.
Right? Malik Beasley was one of the guys who hit more than 300 threes this year, but he couldn't
Right.
hit the shit with the Lakers.
Yeah.
That was I
Yeah.
was so excited when Beasley was part of the trade return for Westbrook
Right.
because of the spacing he potentially can provide, but.
Yeah.
He just shot blanks, man.
Yeah.
Shot. I don't know if it's the pressure. Maybe he had something going on, but
Uh,
he was just horrible in LA.
Probably not happy to be there.
I don't know, man. But
Yeah.
he's been really good in Detroit,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
JB Bickerstaff, the coach, has just
Oh.
brought out the best in that roster.
He's a really
so
good coach. Yeah. Jimmy Bickerstaff. Yeah.
I don't think it's a fluke that the Pistons got here.
Yeah. No. Like,
So it's really what's gonna happen with New York. I mean, look, as good as New York is, I don't trust Cat in the playoffs.
yeah.
All right,
Uh-huh.
and Mikal Bridges has actually been underperforming compared to when he was with Phoenix.
With Phoenix. Yeah. Hmm.
And I don't think he's that guy. When you would expect him to be at least at that level he was at Phoenix, but he's not there.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure if this version of the Knicks is gonna be good enough to show up.
Hmm.
Right? I know they got a good coach in Thibs, but
Tibbs. Yeah.
look, man, they got a lot of chokers in this team. Jalen Brunson is definitely not one of them. Okay,
No,
just to
he's
be
not one of
clear.
them. No. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I know Jalen Brunson is gonna
No,
bring it,
Jalen Brunson. Yeah.
but I'm just not sure if anybody else is gonna be along for the
You're
ride.
right. Yeah.
Okay, so, but then again, these are the New York Knicks.
Mhm.
I think the coaching will carry them, and for Detroit, bro, they have Tobias Harris in there.
Yeah.
Right, he's good. He should be wearing a New York Knicks uniform the way he performs in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay, but then again, Karl Anthony Towns isn't a good playoff performer either.
Yep.
So I think this is probably going to be a toss up. To be honest with you, I mean,
Mhm.
it's really, it really depends on if Bridges and Cat show up in the
Yeah.
series.
Mhm. I
Right,
would say, if I had to make a prediction, New York Knicks are gonna get out of the series, and I'd say that they can still do it in six.
You think the Knicks are in six?
They can still win in six.
Right. I was thinking this is gonna go seven. This is one of the series that goes
They'll go
seven games.
7 games.
I think this goes 7 games, and
But that Detroit.
I'm leaning towards New York
Yeah.
just because it's gonna be in Madison Square Garden,
Right.
and just because they have Jalen Brunson.
Right.
So I'm gonna lean New York at 7 for this one.
Nice. Nice.
But it's not gonna be a pretty series, is what this
No.
is. I think this is gonna be. Look, Detroit can score. They shoot a lot of threes. They make a lot of threes, and but the thing is, man, this is gonna be a nasty series for them. They gotta make sure to be able to hit their threes.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they got a lot of young guys in there,
Uh-huh.
and I know that that's gonna be a factor with this series. But
Right.
New York should be pulled. Should be able to pull this off in an ugly series.
Yeah.
Man, I can't believe you left the last one. The worst one for last.
Boston, Orlando.
Fucking the Leprechauns, right?
The
Against
Leprechauns.
Magic.
Ooh, let's see.
I don't even know.
A
Look,
young
I think
Orlando Magic team. Oh,
I like the Magic team too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Franz Wagner was on my fantasy team this year,
Right.
and he was great.
yeah.
When he was healthy, he was great.
He was great. Yeah.
But the Celtics team, we know how they play.
yeah.
They're gonna be the Celtics are the ultimate 3-and-D team, really. If you ask
They
me,
live and die by the three.
right? They play great defense, right? They play good defense, and then they shoot a lot of threes.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the Magic would be able to contain that kind of offense.
Right.
Boston has been up and down this year, obviously, compared to last year, but they're still dangerous.
Yep.
But Orlando has been more up and down this year. I think at one point Orlando was 4th seed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they're very up and
at
down.
one point in time.
Yeah.
But then injuries hit them, and they just fizzled out.
Yep.
So the big question here is that obviously Paulo Banchero
Yep.
and Franz Wagner, how good they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
France last year was, the last time the Magic were in the playoffs, he was underwhelming.
Right.
But he's taken a huge leap this year. He's scoring close to 25 points.
Yep.
And he's making a lot more threes this year.
Right.
And then you got Paulo Banchero, who's obviously
Yeah.
just taking a step forward.
Right.
Obviously another number one pick. He's shown that now.
Yeah.
So,
Don't forget Jalen Suggs too.
oh man, Jalen Suggs.
Yeah.
He's got the. Nah, let's keep it PG with that one. But
Keep it PG with that.
Paulo Banchero he was great the last time they were in the playoffs.
Right.
I expect a lot more from him. But look, man, as much as I hate those green fuckers, it's just, man, Tatum is just, he turns it on in the playoffs, and you got Jaylen Brown, who's been. He's just a good defender, man. It's the reason why he went through.
They're the defending champions for a reason.
They're the champs. They're the champs. I hate to say it, but they're the champs. And they have a very deep team. Who as we mentioned, they hit a lot of threes.
Yep.
I mean, they got Peyton Pritchard, man, the big PP.
Yeah.
Peyton Pritchard, the big PP, right there. So they're very deep, man. So obviously, they got Porzingis as well.
Porzingis, Jaylen Brown.
There's just a lot of depth in that
Derek
team.
White.
Man, come on, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think Orlando has a chance here, to be honest.
No.
And I would say that this is probably gonna be a sweep.
Is this gonna be Banchero's first playoff series?
No. It's gonna be the second. So they went 23-24 last time. Yeah, they went that. They won 7 that series actually.
Oh yeah.
But this is just a different caliber opponent, man. Okay, so it's just look, they're facing the defending champs for a reason, and I don't think it's gonna be an easy series for them. They're gonna have a lot of growing pains here. Last time they faced the Cavs, and they almost won that game, and that's why we have that prediction for the Cavs that we had. But these are the defending champs. These are the Celtics. They're very well coached.
Right.
They have a great system in place, and their superstars will come out and play.
Right.
So Nah, man. This is if there's gonna be a sweep, this is probably
This
gonna
is
be
a
the
sweep.
series. I would call this Boston in 4.
4. Yeah. Just looking at the lineup of Orlando, and just knowing how inexperienced they are, and you're facing like the defending champions and like established playoff performers, like with Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown. Yeah, I'd say Celtics in 4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think this is gonna be the sweep
yeah,
of this. If there's gonna be a sweep in this playoff round, this is gonna be it.
yep.
And look, I'm really excited about these. I just mentioned from a selfish point of view, I get to watch these now. I don't, I used to have League Pass, but not anymore. But having ESPN and Disney Plus is just
Yeah,
it's just been
it's a
great.
game
Like
changer.
I want to play something for you. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen this. I just want to see before we get out of here. I just want to get your reaction on this. So let's let me just play this real quick and let's react. Right. So
Uh-huh.
let's do that. So this is a clip of Isaiah Thomas talking about LeBron
Oh,
James prior
yeah.
to a game. So LeBron was essentially shooting
Yeah.
around. I think this was hours before the game,
Mhm.
and then this is it. So let's go watch it.
Second part of our doubleheader tonight. LeBron James gonna play the game like this. Shirts and skins is what they're doing tonight.
I just totally 100% object to this. And if I was the GM or coach, I would never let one of my players walk out on the floor looking like this. I mean, we are a professional NBA league. We ain't summer league. We ain't at the YMCA.
I think coaches got to go back to suits. I just
Absolutely. I just
That
think,
Chicago
I
almost
just
came
think-
out.
I just think the professionalism in our NBA league has diminished so much, and I look, I like LeBron, I'm a fan of his, so forth and so on, but to walk out on the floor before a game with no shirt on and shoot, I mean, come on, man, where we at? What we doing? Where we at? Now, if you want to, Adam Silver, if you want to find somebody, find that. Put a fine on that.
All right, man. Look, what do you think about that, man? This is such a Tito move. Okay,
It is. It is.
what do
It
you what do you think about that? What do you think about LeBron
Oh.
working out shirtless and Isaiah's reaction?
Um,
Okay, let's paint the context here. This was
Yeah.
hours before the
hours
game.
before, yeah.
Hours before anyone. If you notice the video, there was no one in there, right?
Okay.
The fans haven't been let in. This is probably just. I would say it's probably 3 to 4 hours before the game.
It's not like LeBron has not post shirtless before, Hours before the game. I mean, I don't know. There's no rule in the NBA that says you have to warm up with the shirt on hours before the game. I know that when you're coming into the arena, yeah, I know they used to have a dress code before, and I remember Allen Iverson got fined a lot for showing up in in like a do-rag and
Durags, chains, and jerseys.
yeah. So
He was the movement, man. He was the movement.
it's granted that from a professional standpoint, I see where Isaiah Thomas is coming from, but like it's not a big deal. Like
Yeah, man. Look, it's no one's in the arena.
yeah,
They were shooting. They were taking shots at LeBron
yeah,
when he was working out when no one was there. Right? I don't
Yeah.
think. Look, it's Isaiah's questionable takes. Okay, let's put it like that. I think this is probably something that is just for ratings.
right.
I don't think they should have just bothered with this. Right? I mean, look, man, it's
I
been
don't
3.
Here's one thing, man, with Isaiah. I don't want to go there, man, but I don't think walking off the court with 7 seconds left is professional either.
Yeah, he's talking about professionalism. He has that. He has that in a game. We're talking.
Yeah.
So, I don't think Isaiah's one to talk about professionalism. Okay.
Yeah.
But even so, this is LeBron's working out
Yeah.
by himself. I don't think he expected cameras over there.
Right.
I don't think he's expected to get filmed
Yeah.
because this was just prior to the game. This was
Yeah.
probably his own personal workout.
Right.
This is Isaiah's just making a big deal out of this for no reason. You know, I would counter that if people were in the arena. I don't think LeBron would have done this.
Right.
I think it would have. You know, again, I'm not too big on the idea of dress codes. By the way, let's just keep it at that. You know, I'm not really a big fan of dress codes.
Yeah.
And I was happy that
Yeah.
the league essentially took this rule out. Right, they let them be
Yeah,
themselves. These
yeah.
are. Bro, these are basketball
Yeah.
players, right?
I just remember Iverson, like, you know, he was just trying to be himself. That's who he is, you know.
Yeah, the same
He took
same
it
reason.
too far, though. He took it too far when he released that rap song.
Oh, we got to talk about that one of these
Ocean
days.
44,
That-
Jules.
let's have an episode of NBA rappers.
NBA
maybe.
rappers.
That's the next
Yeah.
one we can do.
Yeah, I think
But yeah,
that's-
look, man, Jordan looked good in his suits, right? You had Kobe looking good. You had
Kobe.
Grant Hill looking all professional and all that stuff. But dude, everyone's got their own personality, right? So you kind of mentioned it. These dudes don't come from the suburbs.
No.
Okay? A lot of these dudes don't come from there.
Yeah.
So why do you can't really expect them to wear a suit and tie all the time,
No,
especially
no.
LeBron, who grew up in the projects.
Yeah, of course.
You know, obviously he's a businessman and all that, but I just would like to reiterate that this was hours before the game. No one was in the arena. Who cares, man?
Yeah.
Who cares? Isaiah's got to move on, man.
Yeah.
This
not a big
was
deal.
really some
It's
old
not a
head,
big deal.
old head shit that should have
Yeah.
been taken out.
Yeah.
All right, so
Right.
the playoffs are going on, and
Yep.
obviously we'll be talking about the games as they go
Right.
for next week. Well, once we probably film next week, Lakers are probably going to be 3-4 games deep, and we can
Right.
talk about that. But from now, we're just going to try to analyze the games as much as we can. I'm going to be watching a lot of the games,
Yes.
given
Same.
the fact that I might have a lot of free time on my hands.
Yeah.
So
All right.
let's do that, and then next time we talk, and we're gonna talk a lot more about the playoffs. But that's
Yep.
pretty much us today.
All right.
Thank you for watching. Or follow us on our socials, and we're gonna be a lot more active on those, by the way.
Awesome.
So thank you for watching. If you
Thank you.
stuck with us this far,
Yep.
and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Peace.
All right.